Official. Well, our recording has started again. Good morning, everybody. My name is Scott Buckholz. We are starting our weekly Zoom property tour. We do these every Saturday morning where we get the privilege and the honor of showcasing and featuring investors from our community across this country. And today we are going to be up in a little town called, is it called Rhinelander,
Thailand.
Wisconsin? Rhinelander, Wisconsin, which Kayla and Colton will explain to us or tell us where that's about, from kind of related to other large cities up in Wisconsin. I know it's cold up there, and so they love being inside in the warm today. And so I've known this couple now for, gosh, what has it been? A couple years. And we got to meet at a national conference where our community comes together once a year in Salt Lake City, and we get to mastermind and train together and just spend some real good quality time together. I think we had a couple good meals together as well. And so these guys are really, really embracing our community, our education platform, and they're both professionals, and they're going to share a little bit about their story. So Colton, Kayla, if you guys can go ahead and come on out, which I can see you now, and kind of tell everybody on a little bit about your story and kind of, how you found real estate investing and literally how you came across our community and why you decided to be a part of our community.
Yeah, so I'm Colton, and so I'm a plumber by trade, and I was working on a motel up in Boulder Junction, which is about 45 minutes to an hour away from Rhinelander. And Tabitha was there. She's one of the owners of the motel, and I was working on something in her bathroom, and I just started asking her questions like how she got into real estate and all that, and then the conversation just continued, and we set up a Zoom meeting with her and saw the community, kind of like you all are here today, and then they kind of showed us around like what the community all has to offer, and then we ended up joining, what was it, like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago?
Yeah, about a year and a half ago. Yeah, I was always the no person. Colton's been wanting to get into real estate for since we've been together, basically like
Yeah.
7, 8 years. And I'm like, we don't have the support. Like, we're young. We don't know what we don't know. Like, I'm not going into this to like have any trouble. Like, I don't want to deal with like lawsuits and stuff like that. So I'm like, I don't want to do it by myself. So finding this community definitely was a pivotal moment in changing my decision for sure. So it's been quite the blessing.
Scott,
You're
you're on
on
mute.
mute.
Still on mute.
There you go. So I got stuck on mute. I apologize. So go ahead and finish telling your story. And I know Kayla's got a little bit to tell about herself as well.
All right. So I'll let you finish talking about yourself.
So I'm a full-time plumber, and then I recently bought a excavation business, real estate investor. I have a dog, as you can see in this picture. His name is Rip. I like hunting, fishing, and snowmobiling, and I love to travel.
So I am a full-time real estate investor for about a year now. Last year about this time I was a full-time registered nurse. Since then, real estate's been able to allow me to be home more, and I dropped to part-time. I love helping people solve challenges, so that's why I kind of became a nurse, is to help people, and it's so cool to help people in a different way that I didn't think was possible. I'm a stepmom to an 11-year-old boy. Dog mom. I love hunting, fishing, hiking, working out, traveling the world, and learning new things. So us together. Go ahead.
No, that's awesome. So for everybody on, I mean, you know, Colton, full-time licensed plumber, Kayla, full-time registered nurse,
Part-time
you know,
now.
what's part-time now? Yes. But before going full-time, those careers themselves, those kept you pretty busy, didn't they?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Colton, I can't imagine. I mean, I'm sure you were working 40 plus hours. Kayla, you were working 40 40 plus hours. So to a lot of people looking from the outside in, you guys got these two really nice, those are wonderful jobs, wonderful careers, full-time plumber, full-time registered nurse. So what was it? What were you lacking? What was it? I mean, you had to have something to make like a decision. I know you said Colton always wanted to get into real estate investing, but why would you guys? Because I know Colton ultimately, you ended up branching out. Now you own an excavation company that you just got started. But like I said, most people from the outside looking in are thinking, well, you guys have great careers. Why would you need anything else in your life?
I wanted more time freedom. I want to be able to kind of do things when I want to do things. I don't want to have to go to a W-2 job if I don't want to, I guess.
Yeah, I think just having the freedom to like say take our stepson to or my stepson his son to like basketball games and just being able to take off and still have that income and know we're not going to struggle. Like we made decent money with our two careers that we've chosen in life, but we wanted the more flexibility and for me to be home more and like just yeah, more flexibility, more time and just to slow
Mhm.
down a little bit. Like I feel like we were so busy. I mean, we still are like getting settled in our real estate, but like to know that maybe in 5 years, like we can slow down and just enjoy the little things. And if and when we're ready to have kids, like be there for them with everything they need and not hustle and bustle till we're
Right.
cranky and tired, like that would make the world of a difference.
Well, I think your story and what you just talked about is going to resonate with a lot of people on today. When you talk about freedom of time, you talk about family, you talk about able to do the things you want to do. I saw you guys, obviously the first time. I guess it's only really been a year ago because we met at the national conference. But then again, we were in Dominican Republic together and spent a lot of time. And I saw you guys there and just you guys had the time of your life there. You were both like super happy. You were having a great time. And so you could tell that you really like traveling. So that was an obvious for both of you, not just one. Both of you guys like to travel and all that. So I'm glad you shared that because, again, a lot of people on today, this is going to resonate with them because, most people want time freedom. I mean, if you ask 100 people on the street, what's the one thing you really want in life? And that's time freedom, right? The other is what? Finance, not to have that burden. You talked about that. And then obviously family. And you guys, I know this too. And you guys showed that picture there. You guys are both huge outdoors, like you were huge outdoor scale before you even met Colton. So I'm sure that was part of the bond right there. Like when he met you and like, oh my gosh, I got this intelligent, professional, beautiful woman, but she also loves to hunt and outdoors. I mean, oh my gosh. Look at Colton smiling ear for ear. So let's talk a little bit about you found the community through somebody else and through Tabitha and Nate, right? You were working on their motel, which they ended up. We're going to feature them right after the first year. That's going to be exciting. They turned a motel into a short-term, midterm rental.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a short-term rental.
With
Yeah,
a
and which is really cool story, and I can't wait for them to come out in January and share that. But so you met them working on a property. Here you are, full-time plumber. You're up there working for your W-2 job, quote, quote. I mean, right?
Yep.
And you're up there working on that motel, and you're like, you see what they're doing, and you're fascinated because it's something you've always thought about and wanted to get into. And that's how people in our community find this group and what we do is just through word of mouth, through meeting people. And I love that. And I know when I first found the community, I found it through LinkedIn. You know, a lot of people are familiar with that social media site. It's kind of like a Facebook, more for business. And I saw somebody on there and I was searching for real estate investors and communities because I had the same thing, Colton. I always wanted to be a real estate investor. And when I saw this person's profile is like, yeah, this sounds, it aligns with my desires and wants and kind of where my mindset was. So, so you found the community, you went to a Zoom meeting, maybe did you attend a property tour like
Yes.
Yes.
this today? Yeah, so you attended a property tour like this, and then you got started. You got involved in the community, and now when you got involved with the community, did you already have a rental property?
No.
Mm-mm.
No,
We
you had no rental properties.
Mhm.
Okay, and did you already own your home,
Yeah.
or were you renting at the time? You already owned your own home, and had you done a flip yet, even?
Oh.
So you hadn't done. You just bought a home. That's basically it, right?
We built our home, but
yeah,
yeah,
we
You
built
did
it.
what?
we built
You
our,
built your home. That's right. That's right. You built your home. And so when you got involved in the community, and that was just a year and a half ago, right?
Mhm.
I'd say we looked
So the
at like different things always on market that like because him and his parents wanted to get into it together, but we
Mhm.
never like pulled the trigger, which thank goodness because I don't think we would have made money on a single one of
No.
them. So it's kind of a blessing to know what we know now, so we weren't in trouble.
well, you know what they say, things happen for a reason, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
So the property you're going to share today is, let's see, the last time we had you guys on, you guys, was that a flip you did, or was that a buy and hold as well?
That was a
Bye.
buy and hold.
Buy and hold. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about that strategy, because there's a lot of different real estate investing strategies, and a strategy that really hits home with most investors is long-term holds.
Mhm.
Okay. And talk a little bit about that. Why are you guys really focused on building your portfolio?
Um, for the passive income, the tax benefits,
Build generational wealth.
generational wealth.
Because our Braden, our son, he has taken quite an interest into this stuff, which takes
Really?
lots of time to change. But yeah, we were in the car the other day and I'm like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And of course, like NBA basketball player was first. And then he's like, oh,
Sure.
and then a business owner. I'm like, oh, I'm like, okay. So that's really cool to see him and like him
Yeah.
to see things change and us build our careers as well.
Well, I know this is a little sidestepped here a little bit, but you made me curious. Who's his favorite NBA player?
Steph Curry.
Stuff. I should have figured. Should have figured. So cool. So yeah, did I actually see a picture that you had him at a property?
Yeah,
Or yeah, I thought so. I did see a picture of that.
he
Yeah,
helps us, like usually
yeah.
and bring garbage out and just stuff that he's capable of doing.
He's a good painter now.
Is he really? Oh
I
my
don't know
gosh.
if I'd be able to do it without his help. He's very
I
helpful.
I typically on my deals, like I just finished building a brand new home and I'm getting ready to start to build another couple homes again, start another process. I try to keep my hands off of things. Uh, so painting is like my least favorite thing to do. Like it is my least favorite thing to do. I am so bad at it. Um, I've helped before, and then the people I'm helping, they go, "Hey, is there something else that needs to be done?" Because I'm not good at it. So he's good at it. He likes it. That's awesome. So this deal, let's talk a little bit how you found this deal. And because you said you talked about earlier about analyzing properties and things like that. How did you come across this property?
So Colton drives a lot for his W-2. So he
Mm-hmm.
drives around and looks for deals, but I actually was driving around and found this one. Um, so I just took different roads home, and this one was in the winter. I found it about a year ago. And it just didn't look like there was any traffic going into it. The snow, there was like a little path to it. I'm like, it doesn't really look like it's being used, but maybe the garage, I don't know. So we just sent them a letter with our contact information. And then we wait for a call back. So we send out quite a few letters. We've probably sent out hundreds of letters and gotten what, maybe like 25, 30 calls back.
Yeah.
Well,
But
that's a really good response. 25, 30 out of 100 callbacks.
Well, hundreds.
Oh,
We've
hundreds.
yeah, but I don't know
Okay.
how many like are just sitting on people's like counters for the right time, you know, like rather than calling them and catching them off guard, I like
Mhm.
this way just because they can sit on it till whenever, you know, they might be going through something, they might have just lost a parent, like there's multiple
Right.
situations that they're not quite ready.
Do you
Emotionally.
handwrite those? Do you handwrite those letters?
Yeah, I put a lot of time into handwriting those letters because we live in such a small area up here.
Mhm.
I like that personal touch. And I notice even when I get like the ones that are like the fake handwriting from the printer, I just throw them out. So I'm like, what would grab my attention to make me read a letter, to make me read something? Because I get a lot of mail, especially now being a business owner. I mean, I'm throwing stuff out left and right. So like what would grab my attention for me to open it? And that's what I was like, oh, handwritten and with our information. So we've had decent luck with it. It's a good pace for us at the moment.
Amazing. And do you, the letter, I know we won't spend a ton of time because we've got to go through pictures, numbers, talk about how you funded it and all that. Do you spend like, is it just a short couple liner letter?
It's
Is
about,
it a paragraph?
yeah, it's about
Put a
like
paragraph.
7, 8
Yeah,
sentences. Yeah. Just telling
great.
them
And that,
how we can help and what their options are and how we can help and then our information.
amazing. That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm gonna have to get on a side note with you on that and kind of pick your brain on that. So
Yeah.
you found this property and you just found it by driving around in your area. You said you're in a smaller community and you found a house that what we, it looked like it was a vacant or not maybe lived in very much property. And there's other little signs that, are there other things that you look for when you do that? Besides the snow thing, do you look for maybe like in the summertime that they're not taking care of the landscaping or, you
Usually,
know,
usually long grass, roofs, if their roofs are in real bad shape. Even if it does look like someone's living there, we might send them a letter just because they might not have the money to fix the roof, so
Mhm.
they might want to sell.
That was our last
mhm,
one. They were actually living there
Yep.
and wanted to sell. So you don't know if you don't ask.
Yep.
right, exactly. That's exactly right. So, so you found this property, and the big question that a lot of people always bring up is like, how did you fund the deal? How did you come up with the funds to acquire the property? So, can you talk a little bit about the process? You sent the letter, they responded, and take it from there. How did that conversation or negotiation go at that point?
So he gave me a call, the owner, his name was Eugene, and I set up a meeting with him for Kayla and I to go and look at the property with him. We took a bunch of pictures and then we ran our numbers with our community and I'll let you go from here.
I think it's yeah, so we take photos. We just let them know they're like because we never know like the outside can look fine and the inside can be a disaster and like Colton's very handy and with our history of building our own house, we have a lot of diversity, I guess, in what we can do. But knowing your team and like, okay, how long's my HVAC guy out? How long's my electrician out? Like knowing where people are to know how long I need to hold the property to know how much funds I need. So we take photos, we run comparables to give them, okay, a lot of people are like, this particular seller was pretty attached to the house. It was he held on to it for many, many years. It was sat 20 years vacant. He thought it was worth more than it was. And I just I'm like, we can't do that. I'm like, we are not even on the same page here. So at first we weren't even expecting to really get this house because we were not on the same page. So bringing our comparables for homes that sold, not that are listed, but that are sold, and what they ran for is super important because that's giving them statistical data of what that home is worth. Because it changes, like some years it could be worth thousands of dollars more and other years not so much. So we also like to have multiple outs. So this one we could have wholesaled, we could have fixed and flipped it, and we're trying to build our portfolio, so we did a fix and hold. There's certain areas and amounts that we know where we can fix and hold, or if it should be a fix and flip. We kind of have those numbers in our head for where the market is right now, which is very helpful when we go to decide. So then we
Can I
bring the,
pause you right there?
yeah.
I just want to, you guys are throwing golden nuggets out like crazy here. Okay. So when they first came back, your comment was you didn't even think you're getting this deal. Okay. And that is pretty much, I don't want to say it is. It's more the norm than not the norm. And what I mean by that, and you can relate, and I hope others can too, sellers always think their house is worth way more than it's worth, right? And I love the fact you just didn't go back with them and throw them at numbers. You provided proof, right? You literally showed them comparables like, for us to even get to this number, we're going to have to spend 50 some $1,000 rehabbing your house, right? And they don't want to typically see that, right? Initially, a seller doesn't want to hear that. But if they got it in writing, if they can leave them a copy or email them a copy or hand deliver them and let them sit on that, common sense will kick in, right? Typically they'll kick in going, well, they got a point here. If it's a husband, wife, if it's a single person, it'll kick in. And somehow by doing that very professionally, and because there's obviously ways you don't want to go about this, right? You don't want to throw numbers back at them in their face, like, oh, you're wanting 200 and this thing's not worth 50 grand. You don't want to, because you just burnt the bridge at that point. So I love that you shared all that. I'm hoping people really paid attention to that, because that's crucial. Now, did you know that like 5 years ago, how to go about doing this? And if you didn't, how did you learn how to have these conversations and do all this?
Yeah, well, I think the negotiation part, I think just being confident in like your numbers and just being able to back yourself up. Like, I'm not the best negotiator, but when I like know I have a limit, and like me and him we'll be like, okay, we can't go above this price. Like we're flexible, you lowball
Mhm.
a little bit to see where they're at and see if they'll just agree or where they're at.
Right.
So we always send a little low ball offer, and then we leave them open to negotiate. Because if they feel like they won, that's really good. So even though
That's a win-win situation, right? When they think they won and you won, when you both parties win, that's a good deal, right?
and it makes
But
everyone happy.
did you learn any from the classes, like the classes I take and you take? We take the same ones. That's
Yeah.
part of our community. Did that help you with negotiations? Did that help you with learning how to have that conversation?
Yeah, so there is a class, the negotiations class definitely helped me. And then just the fix and hold classes and the fix and flip, because those all kind of, when we go and look at properties, those just help see, and they help point out like he's really good at pointing out all the things, the big ticket items, where I'm like look at the whole property kind of thing. So I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, like I get the creativity of what we're gonna do with it. And he's like, wait a minute. He's like, what's a roof look like? What's this? I'm like, okay. I'm like, yeah.
Slow down, slow down. I
Um,
love it. See, you guys, that's what makes you guys a great team.
right.
There you go, yin and yang a little bit. He sees all this stuff and he kind of puts it together with you guys. So again, I'm glad you shared that, because a lot of people on who have not done a deal yet, who are looking at this, our community, and looking at, hey, I want to get involved in investing. What do I need to do? What kind of a community do I need to be a part of? What kind of classes and training do I need to take? They have the same thing. Like, there's no way I could ever approach a seller. I don't know how to have that conversation, right? I'm not good at negotiating. Well, we have all the tools that necessary through our training and through our classes that will help all of us with that. And they've helped me tremendously. And I know they have with you as well. So you're able to negotiate a deal and you came up with the price. Now, how did you actually acquire the property? Like, go ahead, Colton, if you want to talk a little bit. How, like, did you put it under contract? Did how did you come up with the funds and all that? Just again for everybody on
Got
that.
under contract, and then we had a private money lender to fund it.
Which we just got through like telling them our story and like saying you could make more money with us than you can in the bank potentially. Obviously there's risks, but knowing they could grow their funds significantly more than it just sitting in the bank really intrigued them, and it creates a win-win situation.
So then,
Awesome. So when you mention private lender for folks that are on, this is somebody, a private lender is either somebody somebody you know through somebody else, or somebody that you meet and they don't maybe have the tools or the time or the skill set to actually do the work, right? Or to
yep.
manage a project, or to buy the materials, or to actually evaluate and figure out, like, Colton, you might look at the roof and go, okay, that's going to cost us material and labor, around $3,500. Okay. Replumbing it, since I'm a plumber, and because I'm a plumber, I also know a little bit about the electrical costs and the HVAC costs. They don't have that skill set, but they might have funds, right, through a 401k or a savings account or something, an HSA or something like that. Insurance, they may have an insurance that has some kind of value in it that they can borrow. So through your conversation, they're able to invest that money and become investors. They're basically your partners, right? I tell people that all the time. They're just not money lenders. They're actually a partner in my deal, right? And so you're able to do this. And this particular investor, okay, this is someone new. Is that what you mentioned?
No.
What I mean is, there's somebody you met and that you shared your story with, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like somebody you've known for years and years. Did you
Well,
hear me?
right. Yeah,
Kind of.
we
Yeah,
have both of
I'm
them, but
not asking.
somebody
I don't
to
want their
that call.
names or their relationship to you,
Yeah,
because we keep that private. That's why we call them private lenders, right?
right.
So they were able to invest their money and make a better return than sitting in a savings account, and much lower risks than in the stock market, right?
Correct.
Because they have value in the property you bought. We
Yep.
put them in a position, so they feel comfortable, and that's great. I love that you share that. So you did your analysis on it. You already had an idea before you started, but now that you own the property, you get in there and push your sleeves up. Did you come up with any expenses, Colton, or repairs that you were going to have to do that you didn't catch? Oh, she's smiling. So, did you come up across anything that you weren't prepared for, like in your initial budget?
Only thing that came up more than what I was expecting was electrical.
We should have got a quote from the electrician, not just tried to do it ourselves.
Yeah, it was more electrical work than what I expected. He came in because I knew it needed electrical work. So I had him come in, look at everything. He said there was a few wires that were fine, but he pretty much rewired the whole entire house. So it
And you
came,
weren't budgeting for that.
yep, it was what I think $5,000 more than
Yeah.
what we were expecting.
Luckily, my plumber was cheap, so we were able to.
Like free, I hope.
Yeah.
No. So, that, and it's good to talk about this, because a lot of people don't want to talk about this subject. And that is, even if, like, and I'm not bragging, because people have done so many more deals than I have. I'm in the mid 20s, upper 20s deals, and I still come up across something that wasn't, you try to prepare for everything, but the way you prepare for everything is you leave yourself enough juice or enough money in the deal that you can factor in what we call an oops factor or a contingency factor. And sometimes people budget 5%, sometimes people budget 10%, sometimes people budget 15 or 20%, whatever the number is, because it never fails. Would you guys agree, every single deal is different? It's
That's
Yeah.
never cookie cutter, um, and you might find stuff that you never. I've got. I could probably do an 8-hour property tour and just talk about all the things that I've experienced in my short career as an investor, that things you just never think of that happen. And so great. So that was the one really thing that you came across that you weren't planning for. So was that in also the 5 grand? Was that including new panel, all that?
No, we could use the panel, just everything else had to be redone.
Everything.
Oh, okay. Okay, so the
All the work
panel
on
was like 150 amp or 200 amp panel, something
Yep.
like that, or was okay, great. So let's get into showing some pictures of the property. I know you've got them on. These are the before pictures. I know you. Okay, there's the outside. Okay, so is this the before outside? Yes.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. How many square foot house is this?
Like
It was about 1,200.
Now, is that a pretty common size in that community or that neighborhood?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and roughly what year was that built?
I believe it was like the 40s.
In the 40s. Okay. All right. And that was the before inside pictures. Oh, it really go back to that last picture. I'm just looking at it for everybody. I'm looking at the spindles. I'm looking at the siding or the paneling halfway up the wall. I'm trying to decide. So that's definitely not the. I don't think that's definitely not the original look of the house.
No.
Like they did something, those spindles and that paint. That was something maybe updated in the 70s.
Yep.
Don't you think, Colton?
Yep.
Yeah, just some of the styles there and the finishes look like the 70s, but you can tell they hadn't really done a lot in a lot of years, right? To the inside.
It was like vacant for at least 17. Like complete.
17 years vacant.
Yep.
So share real quick. It's 11:30. We're doing great on time. What is something that somebody has to think about when something's been vacant for a long time? What are something that pops into your head that you would want to share with somebody that you want to think about as an investor?
I usually think about smells and
Okay. Odor.
broken water pipes.
Yeah, bro. Let everybody know you're up in Wisconsin. What's the temperature like up there today, guys?
I think it's a heat wave, actually.
Today, I think it's like 20s,
Yeah, mid-20s.
but yesterday and the day before, it was like 0 and negative. Like, I think,
0 and negative.
yeah, I think Thursday it was,
Like negative 20 or 30
yeah,
with the wind chill. Like it was very cold on
Yeah,
Thursday.
so I saw somebody on from Miami and from Texas, so it's a little cooler than what you guys would be used to down there. Yeah, so you're looking for odors, you're looking for are you looking for potential mold for any water leak issues,
yep,
things like that? I'm thinking of a property that's 17 years old. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I know I'm gonna have to replace the windows. Did you guys have to do that?
Yeah.
Yep. Roof, windows. I'm thinking plumbing. I'm thinking, obviously, first thing I'm doing is ripping off all the paneling and ripping off all the carpeting out, looking for substructure issues, right?
yep.
Perfect. And now, does this have a crawl space or a basement?
Basement, a walkout basement.
Perfect. Yeah, if you want to keep rolling through the pictures, lots of paneling. Okay.
Yeah, so this is the main
Looks like,
floor, 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, and then this is the stairs going down, and then the basement, which was the kitchen, which was very interesting.
so you come into the main level, but then you have to go downstairs to the kitchen.
Yes. You did.
Interesting. And I know they did because you guys are going to show some really cool change pictures here of what you did to it. Because I saw them and I'm like, wow, what a difference. The value. And I want you to make sure we leave enough time to talk about the changes that you made, approximately how much value it added to your property, right? Like by moving the kitchen from downstairs to up, there's approximate value that it really added to the property because if you'd have just rehabbed it and kept the kitchen downstairs, it would not be worth as much as it is upstairs, right?
That was like the biggest factor when we were looking at it. I'm like, how can we financially put the kitchen upstairs? And it took us a long time to come up
Mhm.
with it. We actually let our private money lenders come with us and look at the property, and they actually helped us with the idea of the kitchen. So that was pretty awesome.
Oh, that is so cool. I love that, guys. I love that. I've taken notes. I'm taking notes on that one too, what you just said. Um, so when did you buy it approximately? What was the purchase? Month
July,
wise, year wise?
July 5th, right
July,
after the 4th.
July of 24
Yep.
this year?
Mhm.
Okay. And then how long did it take you to get to and you're going to show pictures of what you completed? How long? How many months?
Um, so by the time we had to wait so we were done about what, end of October, but we had to wait a couple weeks for carpet. So it ended up being November 5th that we were completely done. And then our renters moved in November 7th.
Awesome. So how many months is that roughly?
August, September, October, November, about 4.
4 months. That's about 120 days. And you're going to go through all the things that you did. Um, there you go, right there. You added 2 bedrooms. Obviously, that increases the huge value
Mhm.
because when people look at properties and you look at comparables, first of all, you look at the same area. Like you're looking at comparables, Kayla, and I don't know how far you had to go out. Quarter mile, half a mile.
No, up
Oh.
here it's like 30 miles.
You had to go all the way out 30 miles to get
Yeah.
comparables.
I'd love to show you how we count properties because it's a totally different ball game up here. Like you don't like cross the street and it just depreciates in value due to the neighborhood. Like it's pretty.
It's pretty the same like everywhere up here. Like I've
Wow,
done
that's
in
amazing.
like cities and stuff, and you cross the street and it can change in value a lot. Up here, it's pretty much all the same.
Yeah. It's very
Yeah,
interesting.
so adding 2 bedrooms increased a lot of value, but where I was going was not only did you look at square footage of the property, you looked at how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, because 3 bedrooms is more valuable than 2 bedrooms, correct?
Yeah, and people really look for the 3 bedrooms up here. A
See,
lot.
you know your market, and that's a very important and a great lead for everybody. Uh, Hold on just a minute here. We've got some folks. Hey guys, if you're on today, please do not use the chat line for soliciting. Uh, this is Property Tours about our community and about these investors. We'd appreciate your help with that. That would be great. And then my admin folks, you'll help me with that as well. But so, and then bathrooms, right? That's a huge thing too, Kayla and Colton, is a 1 bedroom compared to a 1.5 or 2. There's a difference there, right?
Yes.
Awesome. So 2 complete bathroom rehabs. And how many bathrooms were in the property when you bought it?
There was 2.
It was 2 bed, 2 bath.
Yep.
Was the one up, one down on the bathrooms?
Yep.
And you kept them one up and one down, but you finished them full.
Mhm.
Yep.
Nice, nice. And are any of the bedrooms in the basement?
Yeah.
There's 2 bedrooms in the basement.
Perfect. So you got a full bath to what we call service those 2 bedrooms. And then upstairs, you got a full bath to service the bedroom upstairs.
Yep.
Nice. All new windows, trim, exterior doors, uh, new furnace, AC duct work, all new plumbing. So up there, what do you guys use? A heat pump up there? What do you guys use up there for HVAC?
Just furnace.
Okay, so all new furnace and AC. So the new folks who move in to rent your property, they got a brand new furnace, new AC ductwork, all new plumbing, all new electrical, except for the panel. The panel was in good shape. I guess the service was fine that was coming into the panel.
Yep.
A new drop ceiling put in. So is that kind of common up there, drop ceilings? Because down here, or I say down here, I'm quite a bit south of you in Cincinnati, Ohio. That's one of the first things we do is remove drop ceilings. So you put a new one in. So is that common up there?
Yeah, it's common. We put them in just because all the utilities like electrical, plumbing, all that is usually ran in the ceiling
It's
Hmm.
a basement.
for the basement.
Mhm.
So if you don't have a drop ceiling, you gotta cut drywall, and that's another repair you gotta pay for.
Leaky pipes or whatever.
Yep.
So usually we usually just see them in basements. It's very common in basements around here.
Yeah. And I wanted to say that out loud, guys, because some people may be home today thinking, oh, that's horrible. Why would they ever do a property with a drop ceiling in it? Well, you got to know your market, and every market is different. Okay. And so it's really good that we point that out. It's very important to know your market. So, drop ceiling, put in new flooring, new paint. What kind of flooring did you go with, if I might ask?
The vinyl planking.
Vinyl planking. Okay. So, like LVP, luxury vinyl planking.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. And so, um, some people, obviously the way the quality of LVP is today, oh my gosh, down here they're putting in. I just finished a house that's selling between 650 and 700, and we used engineered hardwood. But there are homes being built down here that are in the 700s that they're using LVP in, and because it really looks good and it holds up for a long time, right?
Yeah, we like it because we know how to install it. So that's nice too.
Did you put new siding on or just paint it?
Just paint it. Oh, a
So
couple.
Okay.
we painted it and then I had to repair. So there was that roof.
Mhm.
You
You
can
can kind
see
of
on
see
the
it.
left-hand picture,
Yes.
the water was splashing off that and hitting the siding. I had to replace all that, like above that little roof there.
Which is what's super cool. So we had the same siding in our fix and flip that we learned a lot from. So we wanted to like power wash it. Well, that would have totally disintegrated it, and I didn't know that. So we learned a lot, and then being able to use that knowledge to this house was super helpful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, just little things like that. I mean, if you'd have paid someone to power wash that, even if you got to, like, say you didn't do it, Colton, say somebody said, I'll power wash it for $100. And you're like, great. Well, if you didn't give them direction and they didn't have the nozzle on a power, a lot of people don't know this. If they had the nozzle at full pressure, you're saying they would have completely destroyed that house.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And then you would have looked at it like, oh my, now I have to buy all this new siding, and that would have really raised your budget up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. New soffit, maybe new fascia.
No, we didn't do any of that. We
That's
painted it
great.
pink.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you paint the foundation black.
Yeah, it's like a charcoal gray.
I like the color combination. It really pops, doesn't it?
Yeah, Colton's good at picking out colors.
There you
Unfortunately.
go. There's that yin and yang. You guys are good together. Okay. So that's the inside before on the left or right during demo.
Yep, so that's during demo. So that was the one with all the paneling on the side. It was the smaller bedroom upstairs, and we decided that there, after measuring it out and everything, that's where we were gonna put our kitchen.
Gotcha. So by moving the kitchen upstairs from downstairs, just ballpark for me, Kayla, what do you think value wise that added?
I don't even know. I'm not good at guessing.
Probably 30,000, somewhere around in there.
That I was thinking 25 to 30.
Yeah.
So not knowing your market.
Yeah, and it definitely like increased who would buy it, like, or who would rent it even, like
Who would rent it as well? You're right.
the older
Because
generation,
people,
those stairs
yeah.
are,
So what a lot of people who've never had rental properties and say they live in a home they own or whatever, they don't realize or haven't maybe ever realized or thought about this. When you have a renter coming to look at a property, it's like someone buying a property. What are the first things they look at, right? They look at kitchen, they look at bathrooms, they look at closets. They're not buying the property, but it's going to be their home, right? So they're looking at some of the same stuff you and I are looking at if we're going in to move into a home, the usable space, does it have enough bedrooms? And, is the floor plan open, or is it still, left where it's all modular and you got a ton of rooms in a small footprint, right?
Mhm. Yeah,
So
luckily
did you, the
here
cabinets, go ahead, I'm sorry.
we have a, what would you say, like a seller's market still.
Mm-hmm.
So like a
Okay.
lot of these old homes we don't have to open up, which is kind of nice. Like this is it does have an open area when you walk in, but there's no houses, it's all apartments, it's all duplexes, fourplexes. condo like thing. So for people to get a house with a yard is a huge thing. Like I said, this thing was rented before it was even done. So
Oh, I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was. So keep moving through your pictures so we don't run out of time here. We've got about 10 minutes.
So this was the basement to the left. This was after we ripped out all the cabinets and everything. We kept the fire or the chimney because with us keeping it as a rental, it was going to cost us a lot to remove it. So we just put closets around it. Colton framed everything in the bottom. We designed it where it was 2 bedrooms down there. There was up in that right-hand corner, there was a super large window. Is that before you? I can't
That
tell.
was before I took the
Yeah,
window
so that was all cracked and we weren't sure what we were gonna do there. That was like our biggest problem or I guess challenge for making it 2 bedrooms. So we replaced those windows down there and we're able to frame it in the middle to create the window for each bedroom. So that was kind of cool.
Very nice.
Yeah, so this is Braden. He's 11. He loves helping me paint. Well, he says he does. This is the downstairs bathroom. We ripped out everything. I redid the vanity since it was going to be a rental. We just painted it and refinished it, sanded it, all that fun stuff.
Yeah. I love the old swag lights they had in there.
Yeah. Very, and the
Cool.
carpet that was in the bathroom, I'm like, we haven't come
Yep.
across that too often.
You know what? Something I was reading or saw in a magazine here recently, or it's not a magazine, it was actually online, that on the East Coast and West Coast, I don't know if anybody can confirm that carpeting is starting to come back in bathrooms. I don't get it because I grew up with carpet in bathrooms as well, and I
Same.
was grossed out as a kid.
I
Yeah.
hate working on bathrooms with carpet in it.
Yeah. No thanks.
You go in with a full hazmat suit on? No, I'm just kidding you. Boots up to your hips. You got them. You got those boots. You might as well.
Right. Yeah, I don't know if I could hop on that trend. So we had some help with the drywalling. A friend offered to help. So that was super helpful because we were actually in the Dominican Republic on a trip and our project was at a halt because we weren't there. And so it was a very big blessing that our friends were able to come and work on the drywall while we were gone. So we were able to make some progress because I was stressing out about that a little bit on vacation.
I'm sorry. I just had to boot somebody out of the chat room. I had to
Oh,
kick them out of the proprietary. We asked nicely not to listen, and they still kept doing it. Okay, so did you keep the tree?
yeah, we kept 2. There,
Hmm.
there was, so in the big picture, there was, well, I guess you can see it in the lower right. There was a crab apple tree that we took out to make more room for parking. We actually asked the renter, we're like, would you rather have it or should we take it down? And they're like, we'd love to have more space for parking. So we took one of the trees down.
Because there is a blacktop driveway on the left-hand picture. You can kind of see it on the left-hand side of the house. Uh,
Hmm.
but it's super steep, so with our snow and ice we get here, it wouldn't really work in the winter. So then we put this parking pad up above the hill.
Mhm.
Nice, nice. How many more pictures do you have? We have about 5 minutes or 7 minutes.
I think just the after one. So since we kept it as a rental, we just painted. Well, I started painting to see if it would even look halfway decent. I'm like, let's just throw some paint on it, see how it turns out. And we didn't mind the way it looked for a rental, so we painted all of the paneling in there, and then we redid the whole bathroom. It's a very big bathroom. And then the kitchen is one of my favorites. It turned out really well for the space we had.
Yes, yes. So the master bedroom, or some people refer to now as the owner's suite. Uh, so did you make that an ensuite?
No.
We no, we didn't actually do much to that room. Um,
Okay.
we just kept it. There was just weighing we wanted to stick more time into the kitchen and the bathrooms because that really needed the remodel. So
Sure.
we didn't do much to the master. And then we carpeted
Nice.
the stairs. And then these are the 2 lower bedrooms that we
So you
created.
carpeted the stairs, but you kept laminate on all the floors.
Mhm.
Yep.
Okay.
So yeah, so then we closed to buy the property on the 5th of July, finished November 5th once everything was done, and then people moved in November 7th. So it was a pretty quick turnover. So I'll let you do this.
So our hired work was HVAC, electrical, interior trim, flooring, drywall, drop ceiling, exterior doors, kitchen cabinets, and then we were our own GC, so we pulled all the permits. We did the painting, the plumbing, texture, windows, exterior trim, siding repair, driveway gravel, tree removal.
We did the demo ourselves, and then Colton did the wall framing, and we also did the insulation.
So we only have a few minutes left. That's a great thing. And you're going to pull the numbers up. A real quick question here for you is, I try to stay away from doing a lot of the work myself. And there's two schools of thought there. When, investors do a lot of the work, they save on labor as far as cost, but obviously your time is worth something as well. And so forth. Do you guys see as you continue to grow your portfolio and grow your investing business? Because I know Kayla, you're a full-time investor. Um, Colton, you're still working 40 plus hours as a plumber, right? W-2, plus you do all this, plus, hunt and have time for family and your son, who, by the way, he looks like a mini Colton. So, um, do you guys see yourself continuing to do this much labor on the jobs? I know do you like doing it?
I like doing it, but I don't like doing it as much as we have been. So eventually we'll
Okay.
probably hire more of it out. Um, but it is enjoyable doing it, at least right now.
Yeah,
But
because
where
when I saw your rehab budget, which you're about to pull up right now, when I saw what you spent on your rehab, I was like, I could never get that done, all that work for that price.
Yeah,
But
so
a
right now,
lot of that you did yourselves.
yeah, right now we have more, which isn't a lot. We have more time than money, so we have to leverage what we do have at the moment. So eventually we'd love to hire out the painting and the like almost all of it. We'd love our money just to work, but right now that's not where we're at, and just enjoying where we're at with things, which we do like. We like the physical labor part. But like I said, like when we're gone, we don't want things to stop just because we're gone. So eventually we would like it to be pretty self-sufficient with what we have in order.
And I am sure, knowing you guys, how driven and everything, and already all the success you've already had in your life, I'm sure you will be there before you know it.
Yeah, we're excited to see what
So
next.
purchase price 42.5, your rehab holding cost 54.1. So you're in it about 96. And then do you also, is the holding cost, is that also your money costs for
Mhm.
everybody on? So your private lender, what they're going to be paid or being paid, that's in the 54?
Yeah, yeah. So right now we haven't, with rates being so high, we haven't flipped into a traditional loan. We still have our construction loan. So we still
Yes.
have private money stuff, but or private money that we have to pay for, but it's coming out of their rent now since it's rented already.
Oh, okay, great, great. So do you want to flip to this? So, oh, I'm sorry. So that 96 that you're all in at, I think is what it showed, right? 96 I saw. What would the ARV now be?
it would be a good around 150.
Mhm.
So you have, and this is a good point for everybody on, you have about 50 plus in equity, correct? In your property. So really all that labor you put into it, that's how you got the 54 equity. Think
Mhm.
about it that way too, right?
Mhm.
Because if you would have had to pay, say, 20 or 25 out in labor to do all those things, your equity would have been what? Only about 25.
Yeah.
So you really, that your labor, that's the upside for me. I always try to find positive in everything. The upside to this, you guys doing that work, you built larger equity in that property, which is going to allow you guys and anybody on, when you go to do the burr, when you go to do that refi, you're going to be in a much better situation than if you had 125 into it, right?
Mhm.
So great job, guys. That's, a lot of people don't have the skill set or the time though to do all that work that you did.
Yeah. You have the time
So,
for what you make the time for. We realized that over the past year and a half, what's important to you and what you can make work. You'll find time for that. So
so monthly rental, go ahead and go through those numbers real fast as we wrap up here.
yeah, so we rent this out for 1,400 a month. They pay all the utilities and all of that. So we pay our interest, taxes, insurance. So with our private money, this is where we're sitting right now without refinancing. We pay 874.92 in our expenses. And then we don't have a management fee because I manage it, being part-time in my nursing career. That was part of the agreement. Our vacancy, so the vacancy we just factor in for if and when that time comes. And then maintenance, we shouldn't have much maintenance, but we do factor in 5% each month, which is $70, and then capital expenditures. So if something does go out, we do have the funds for that.
So
Uh,
every month you're setting back 140.
Yep.
yes.
Excellent. Excellent. So your monthly expenses 1130. So you're literally again cash flowing 268 a month. That's after taxes, insurance, maintenance. Now
And
you are managing it, so you're not paying a 8, 10, 12% management fee, right? Okay. So even if you did do that, you would still cash flow, correct?
Yep.
yeah.
Yes, even if you did do that, like if you built your portfolio, we're like, hey, it's time. We got 12 properties, we got 16 doors, whatever it is, and you turn it over at some point, you're still cash flowing. You're in a cash flow situation. And then the 1,400, is that a really, that seems to me, and I don't know your market, that seems like a hot price for that many bedrooms and bathrooms and being able to move in as a renter into basically a new house,
Mhm.
right? I get to move into a brand new home, even though it's built in the 40s, and only have to pay 1,400 a month. That seems like a deal.
That's actually a little bit high for around here, actually.
Is it? Okay.
Our market's changing because we have a lot of $1,200 condos and apartments. So I'm like, well, you get your own space, you get a yard, like your dog can run. So I'm like, yeah, it's
It's
a little,
worth a lot.
yeah, it is. It's people's freedom to be able to do what they want.
Again, knowing your market, knowing the end user, knowing the end buyer. In this case, this is user. So, guys, this is a home run. This is a home run. You've got a lot of what I call win-win-win situations here. It was a win-win for the seller. It's a win-win for your lender, your private lender, because they're making a good return on their money. Okay. It's a good win for you guys because not only are you cash flowing, okay, you've got a lot of equity in this property. Now, some people might go, well, 55,000 is not a lot of equity. Well, on a property that's valued at a 150, that is a lot of, that's 33% equity. That is substantial. Any bank, any lender that's going to do a traditional 30-year note with you guys, they're going to love that. Okay. They're going to love it. And then the other win situation is your renter, you get to provide a home for someone. And then obviously who else wins in this situation? The community, the area. They get a Sometimes we don't think about that factor that people like your neighbors. I'm sure, did you ever meet any neighbors like they come over and say thank you for this place has sat vacant for 17 years, and right?
Yeah, we have on quite a few of the properties we've done. It's cool to
Yeah,
get to know the people and they're happy that it'll be used, not
yeah.
just go to waste, which is so cool.
Yeah, and because of that type of thing, you guys might end up getting more deals that you didn't even know were deals, right? More opportunities. I ended up doing 5 flips on the same streets, and it
Wow.
was just word of mouth. People saw what I was doing. They said, "Hey, can you come give me a price on my property?"
Yeah.
That type of thing. Well, guys, let's wrap it up. It's top of the hour. Uh, can you guys leave some final remarks or some comments for folks? And anybody who's still on, I really messed up and I didn't mention this earlier today. But right after this property tour, there is an overview to our community. It's at a different link. It starts in about 5 minutes. So text to whoever invited you and they can get you on there and they could spend a lot more time talking about our community and about our education and the training and be able to really take what Colton and Kayla have lined out and expand on that. But how would you guys like to wrap up today's property tour as far as words of wisdom or for people that are on thinking about getting a part of our community? How would you like to leave everybody today?
Okay.
I would say get into a community and just go with it because I've been wanting to get into real estate for 6, 7 years, something like that now, and I didn't do any deals. And then I got into the community, and we've done 3 in the past year and a half. So that was the
That's
big.
amazing.
That's the biggest thing for us is surround yourself with people that you want to become or do things with.
Yeah. I would say fight your terror barriers because there's so many things that want to push you back or push you back into your comfort zone, and you grow when you're out of your comfort zone. Like I would have never imagined doing a lot of the things I did this year because it got me out of my comfort zone. I had the support of the community behind me to push me and help me get educated. So I was as comfortable as I could be. But you learn by doing, not always by watching everyone else. So whether you want to be a money lender or do the work like we do or hire it all out, like there's ways in the community for you to do all of that. And the more people you know, the more opportunities you get. So go out and talk to people because it's crazy how much money is sitting around and who knows someone who knows someone who has a property they don't know what to do with. So it's just
Mhm.
all about making connections and building trust and getting educated, really.
Absolutely. Well, guys, this has been amazing. We can't wait to have you out next year on your next deal. And for everybody on, guys, have a great Christmas. And thank you for coming on. We'll be back next Saturday. That's the Saturday before Christmas. And we're going to do one at the very end of the year. We got a special treat on the 28th, which is the last Saturday of the year. So love to see you guys back. And Kayla, Colton, big hugs to you guys. And my wife sends her love as well. And we'll see you guys very soon. Okay.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Good to see
You
you.
bet. Have a
Well,
blessed weekend, everybody.
bye.